Hey, what is going on, guys? It's AryA back again. In this video, we're gonna take a closer look at the new TOTEN Gauntlet called An Ice Day in Hell. Usually when I review gauntlets, I try to separate the good and the bad by talking about specific challenges within that gauntlet. With this one, it's going to be a little bit different. In this gauntlet, there's really not a single bad challenge. In all other gauntlets, there's at least one challenge that you can look at and say, what the fuck were they thinking? I call them bullshit challenges, and to give you an example, the worst bullshit challenge is probably the SX Model 07 round on Voyage of Despair. It's not that they're difficult, it's just that they're stupid. Now, this gauntlet doesn't have one of those, but it's still kind of annoying at times. And that essentially comes down to the fact that this map has a really bad flow. It just doesn't flow very well. Call the Dead also kind of had a bad flow, but the setup process was very quick, so it wasn't that painful. And everything else that came after it was pretty good, so it compensated for the bad flow. This map, however, keeps forcing you to go back and forth between opposite sides of the map that are very far away from each other. So you spend most of the early rounds just walking very long distances, and it's just not fun. That's basically the biggest flaw of this gauntlet, and it's one that comes from the map itself. The gauntlet doesn't cause this problem, it just makes it more noticeable. Now, before I get into talking about some of these specific challenges, I gotta talk about how this gauntlet works and what it wants from you. If you've ever played Toten, you know that there are these challenge totems in different areas of the map. You can do them in no specific order, and once you're done, you're then rewarded with different power-ups and armor and things along those lines. Now, this gauntlet at its core is just doing these challenges by the end of round 26. There are 5 challenge totems around the map, and each one has 3 different challenges, and you don't have to do them in any specific order, but there are checkpoints at specific rounds. For example, by round 8, the game wants you to be done with 1 challenge totem. By the end of round 14, you have to be done by 2. Then you have more checkpoints on round 18 and 22, and then 26 is your final stop. So what this gauntlet basically boils down to is just that. It's just you trying to run around and getting all of these challenges done with a few minor obstacles in between. Every other challenge is pretty much just busy work. It's not horrible though. It's not gonna make you want to pull your hair out. It's reasonable. And it seems like they took some of the criticisms from previous gauntlets and improved on some of the challenges. Like, you still have your standard traditional gauntlet challenges like area lockdown defense missions and going through an entire round with a specific weapon class. In this gauntlet, it was unpacked tactical rifles on round 16 and unpacked sniper rifles on round 27. On round 23, the description reads, "Hunt down and open the mystery box 6 times this round. Fire sale disabled." Now, when I first read this, I was like, oh god, not again. Because I don't know if you remember this, but on Classified there was this challenge where you had to hit the mystery box until it moved, and you had to do that 6 times in a single round, and it's still by far one of the worst challenges I have ever seen. So when I read the description for this one, it says the exact same thing as it did on Classified. But the difference is that now when you hit the mystery box, it gives you a teddy bear instantly and it moves. You no longer have to keep hitting the mystery box until it moves. You just hit it once and then it moves, which I thought was an excellent choice to make it that way. I'm not gonna lie though, this gauntlet took me a long time. I'm not sure if it's simply because the flow of the map is kind of bad, or it's because I was trying to get all the challenge totems done as early as possible, but either way it took me much longer than it usually takes me for me to finish a gauntlet. But I was done with all the challenge totems by the end of round 16. So starting from round 17, everything else was pretty simple. There were 2 specific challenges that I thought were good. The one on round 19 was pretty good. The description says, "Use snowballs only." And when I read that, I thought, well, this is gonna take forever. This is gonna suck. But then I realized that only dogs were spawning in, and I had never been this happy to see a horde of hellhounds spawning in. It just made it so much better because the hellhounds are really fast, so if you're not careful when you're aiming, you're gonna miss them and they're gonna get you. But if you do get them, they die instantly. So this way it's a lot more intense and it doesn't take 45 minutes to get through a single round. Another great decision made by the developers. Another challenge that I liked was on round 29. The description reads, sprint to avoid health drain, slower movement drains health faster. So you basically have to keep killing zombies as you're sprinting. Now this one challenge got really intense in my game because I hadn't had a single down up until that point in the game, and then I suddenly took 2 downs. So I was really scared that I was going to fail on round 29 after playing for like 2 hours. So it was a bit of an adrenaline rush. Overall, this is definitely one of the better gauntlets. Even though it was kind of long and tedious, I still enjoyed it more than some of the other ones. And I gotta say, I had fun playing all the gauntlets and making videos about them. And it's certainly been the highlight of this season of zombies for me, because I feel like I managed to take this one idea and stick to it and make it into a series. And even though the gauntlets as a whole were kind of mediocre, they still made me want to come back to zombies and play them. This is something that I would love to see more of in the future, because in the recent years especially, it seems like the life cycle of each map just keeps getting shorter and shorter. In the beginning, back in Black Ops 3, it was more like, okay everybody, let's get the main Easter egg done and get the cutscene, and then we're gonna find all the side Easter eggs, and we have to find the jump scare Easter egg, and we have to get to a high round. But in the recent years, it was more like, yeah, let's just solve the main Easter egg and get the cutscene. And that was it. So every time a gauntlet dropped, it gave me an incentive to go back and play the game, and that's a good thing. And on a final note, I want to take a moment to just say thank you. I understand that I haven't always been the most consistent YouTuber when it comes to an upload schedule. There were a lot of ideas that I had for videos that never came to fruition, and it's more or less my fault. I wanted to do more because I feel like the people who stuck with me and my crazy upload schedule just deserve so much better. So I wanted to say I appreciate you sticking with me, and hopefully you enjoyed this last season of Zombies content. We had ups and we had downs, but at the end of the day, it's all about making good memories and having fun, and I did a lot of that this past year, so thank you to everybody that has watched any of my videos. And I don't know for sure if this is the end of zombies as we know it, but it feels like it's the end of an era. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, a like would be appreciated. You can subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.